Thought that you should know I've been going solo. Want my love, baby, earn it. Yeah, dancing on my own. See if you can follow. Got me feeling alive. Watch me go, lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time it's real, be real, be real. I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. I want. Hear me now, I do what I want. Are you ready now? 'Cause it won't be easy. Only get what you work for. Gotta go all out whenever you see me. Don't be wasting my time. Watch me go, lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time, let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. I want. Hear me now. Watch me go, lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time, let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want.
Good morning. What's new, pussycat? Happy, what the hell is today? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Happy Halloween. How the hell are ya? Oh my goodness. I wasn't sure if I was going to come live today. Now, who says that all the time? And I truly wasn't. But I thought, you know what, bitch, you've still got seven more headpieces to get through. Today is the 14th. No, 16th. I don't have my glasses on. 16th. So I'm going to have to go live just to wear my fabulous headpieces. And I think I told y'all that I ordered a couple on Amazon. Wah, wah, wah. Very sad. I was quite disappointed when I got them. I think my exact words were something along the lines of, are you telling me these two pieces of shit cost $50? I'm not kidding you. The one was, and I thought about getting this last year. I'm oddly, I know I don't look like mossy oak is my thing, and it's really not, but hey, I've got quite a bit of camouflage, as a matter of fact. Much like animal print. The key is to sprinkle it lightly, at least for moi. So last year I played around with this idea of getting one of those headpieces. It's like a hybrid between a woodland fairy and a deer. Like if they left the same cocktail party and had a collision in the forest as they were both hauling ass to get home. Yeah, it's like antlers with flowers in a quasi headband. And I got it and I was like, wow, it's much smaller than I thought. And it's really creepy. Now, had it been like the size of this bad boy, I know, I typically appear to be more of an understated kind of woman. Uh, yeah, go big or go home. And if that antler, that woodland fairy chopper, oh my God, I just happened to glance down and see you. Stand by, everyone, please, while I got to find this. I had no idea Chopper was so very talented. Yes, our very own Chopper that is in the chat. We're going to need to play a song, a little ditty that she wrote for the bullhorn. I was tagged, and my God, I was blown away. You are so talented. You are destined for great things. Like, I'm sure Nashville or wherever music is written these days, they need you. More on that, una memento. But back to the Woodland Fairy. Too small. Okay, there's Chopper's channel. Oh my God, you did one for me. I didn't even know. You can tell I haven't checked any of my YouTube today. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I can hardly stand it. We're going to debut that live on Crimes and Fashion. Una memento. But we're also going to listen to the little ditty that was written for Betty. I hope you didn't waste too much of your vast talents on that talentless one. Anyway, back to the Woodland Fairy headpiece. Too small. I was expecting it to be on this kind of scale. And let's face it, if I'm going to wear antlers, well, by God, they're going to be like this and they're going to make a statement. I'm not interested in wearing antlers, of a small, like, doe. No, give me I want to be like I don't want to be a buck, but I would want the bucks like 5 point. Yeah, I know a little bit about this. At least 5 points is what I'm going to need. What I got was 1.5 at best, made of plastic. Well, I knew it would be plastic, but it just was not impressive. Not like it looked in the picture. So going back, then the next one came the following day. I had high hopes for the other one. The other one I thought was going to look just like this. However, instead of this, this actually very much reminds me of like a Lady Gaga. This is gothic. This screams Halloween. The other thing just screamed what I thought was going to be drama that I could get away with calling Halloween. And it was mermaid themed. So it was very similar. It had these spikes like these are, but these are really this is very sturdy and substantial. That was made out of these plastic. I've had nail files that were more substantial looking. So it had all these points with plastic, acrylic, what I thought were going to be stones. For what the piece of shit cost, they should have been. And the shells, the pretty pink and purple and blue glittery clam shells and mermaid vibe. No, they were they look like if I had taken one of Betty's vigil, one of her visuals, one of her prayer vigil signs, made with puff paint, glitter puff paint and poster board. Yeah, it was kind of like if I'd taken the puff paint off and stuck it on some cheesy ass looking plastic nail file that was somehow very poorly glued onto a janky ass headband. No, I was like, I would love to. If they looked, I would have gladly paid what I paid for them. If they were even decent looking, they were not. So, alas, I've given up my quest for new Halloween headpieces. I'm going to wear the ones I wore last year, all of which I love. And I got one or two new ones a few weeks ago. So while I didn't know if I was going to actually, it was up in the air whether I'd go live. I thought I had something to do at the end of the day. That got canceled. So I thought, well, you know what, girl, get in there. You got clean, pretty hair and 7 more headpieces to wear. So get your ass in there and go live. Let's laugh at some dumbasses. Did y'all like that title? What did you think of that? What did I name this? There's Sonia. Hey, t-shirt maker to the stars. Sonia, pay attention, honey. I'm going to give you a little lesson in punctuation. Quotation marks more specifically. And we all know that, you have a little confusion where those are concerned. My title, quote, humiliation takes a long time to fade, doesn't it? End quote. Well, you know why those quotation marks are there? Well, they are there because as my literate little self was laying in bed last night, wrapping up my day, reading a book, because, I tend to find the more time I spend on YouTube, the more brain cells I lose. So I like to try and, regenerate what I may or may not have lost during the day by, I don't know, cracking open a book. Was it the best book I've ever read? No. However, she's a fantastic author. I like a book that's a little more substantial. To me, it was 500 pages. I would prefer, if it's a good book, I would like it to be 1,000 pages. I'm going to share the title of that with you, just in case you might want to read yourself. Oh, reading is fundamental. And so are quotation marks. And Sonia, when you are, something your boss, something she does all the time. When you're ripping shit off from other people, something that someone else has used their intellectual gifts to produce. Of course, which would explain why she rips off so many other people's. Yeah, that. Because that brilliant title, while I would love to lay claim to it, and I'm sure your boss, she would, because, she has no scruples. So, and it's not as if Leanne Moriarty would come after me because I used her brilliant quote from one of her books that I was reading. But, sorry, I don't do that. I don't claim others' work as my own. And as such, that's why the quotation marks are there, honey, because those were words that were written or spoken by another. And the quotation marks around here's the, I find this is an easy way to remember it, Sonia. Just use the word. Quotation marks. Here's how you remember. Here's a hack, Sonia. What you use quotation marks for? Who knew? It's right in the word. Quote. When you are quoting another, you put the quotation marks around what they said or wrote. Yeah. You don't put them around the dumbass that is stealing the material as their own, or something, like your boss. What did that dumbass t-shirt say? Who cares? Whatever it said, she put the phrase and then she put the quotes around Bullhorn Betty. Wow. I guess now I understand why you're Betty's employee. Oh, I'm sorry. Betty's unpaid volunteer, because I'm pretty sure you don't get paid. Although you probably should. I hope she pays you for those t-shirts that are Sonia, girl, hit me up if you want like a lesson on color theory or something like that. They have a pretty little wheel that I can probably explain to you. It seems like you seem to be a bit challenged when it comes to picking colors. And I mean, my guess would be that the majority of your demographic, your target demo, well, let's get serious. I'm sure you'll take shekels from anyone who will give them to you, but I would imagine only a woman would buy those. Not this woman, but yeah, I think you could use a little help in your color selection. It might actually help you sell something. Not that I care about that, but let me share with the class in case any of y'all enjoy a good book. And like I said, this wasn't the best book I ever read in my life, but it also was not the worst. Here One Moment by Leanne Moriarty. It was 512 pages. Here's the synopsis. I'm not going to read it, but basically it's about a plane flight and a woman that is like a clairvoyant that is on the flight, and she of her own volition starts telling many passengers on the plane when they're going to die and what they're going to do, what their cause of death is going to be. And the premise of the book is, if this was you, would you live if you knew exactly when you were going to leave this life? Would you start living your life differently? And what would you do? What would you change? So, I mean, the premise itself I thought was kind of interesting. And she's written other books. What other books did she? A Million Little Pieces? No, that's James Fry. What else did she? You would recognize. You can look it up if you're interested. But you would recognize some of her other books. Okay. So that was a quote in the book. And when I read it, I said, self, if that isn't a damn YouTube title, I don't know what is. So, me being old and unable to remember much, which is why I keep paper and pens or paper towels, paper plates, eyeliner, pencil, I keep shit all over the place so that when I have some of my brilliant thoughts, I can and then promptly probably blot my lipstick on it and throw it in the trash. But last night I thought, my God, that is a YouTube. If that wasn't written for YouTube. All right, I'm going to say hi to the kids in class and we're going to get going. I don't know what we're talking about. I'm just going to build the damn content around the title. Helen, I just looked at my email. And I'm my PO box, that'll be done possibly tomorrow or Friday, but where I've already made the inquiry and I'm good to go. So now I just got to get in my car and take myself there. And I am going to do that. And I promise I'm going to let everybody know who cares as soon as I get it done. But I have not forgotten. All right. Hey, Andy, how are you? Fit and Curvy, how you doing? Pink Stripe, how are you? Hi, Lindsay. There's no way I am going to be able to wear glasses. This thing is already pinching the back of my hair. You guys, I don't think I have ever been so excited to get my hair done. And my hairdresser did have to go to another salon. Her salon is not operable. Hopefully it will be in time for my next appointment because this one's a little further. But let's face it, I'd drive to fucking Atlanta if I had to. We were getting to that place where it's gross. It's got to get done. And you can't really tell because I've got the headband on, but I actually got a lot of it cut off, believe it or not. It was, we always cut a little bit every month, but it had been a while since I told her to really get in there, and the layers start to lose definition when it just gets heavy and blah. So, but yeah, it's all shiny and clean. And I was like, damn girl, don't waste a good clean hair day. Oh, and you know my product I told y'all I love so much from IGK that they don't make anymore, Down and Out Dirty Spray? Because yes, I am a weirdo and I much prefer the way my hair looks when it's dirty. Um, well, they don't make it anymore. So I bought every can I could find on the internet. And I now have and when I say I paid black market. Oh, I paid black market. Um, and the not so good news is my hairdresser. I looked at the can and I was like, what is it in this little bottle? The shit's like magic. Cause it really does it gives your hair that kind of like grit that, but there's no powder in it. It's not like dry shampoo or anything like that. I was like, it's just like magic in an aerosol can. Now, my first clue should have been the fact that when you spray there's like it's like a fog, and it's not a clear fog. So I thought I threw all these products I've just bought in the bag from the beauty supply because yes, I have a family member who's got a card. So we just buy the shit online and they drop it off right at her door. So I look at the label. I'm like, God, what is in this bottle that does this? Well, what is in that bottle that does that? The number one ingredient, meaning what it has the most of. Wait for it. Drum roll, please. Would anyone like to guess? And no cheating. If you use this product and do not guess. I'm going to finish saying hi, and by the time I get to the bottom, I'm going to tell you what it is. Zen, I don't think you get to vote. Unless, of course, you don't use that product or have clients that use that product. Hey, Marcy, how are you? Oh, Chopper. I hope you're here when I play it. I'll do it in just a second. But if you need to go, go. But I haven't even heard it, but I know I'll love it. And thank you so much. That's pretty cool. I've never had anybody do that for me before. So thank you. Thank you in the event that you're not here when I play it. Pink Stripe, did I say hi to you? I don't know that I did. I might have. I'm senile. I don't know what to say. Snippins, how are you? I think that name is new. Welcome. Hey, Cinnamon Hot, how you doing? Bombs Becca, how are you? Oh my God, I can't wait to listen to it. Hi, Zen. It is good to see you too. If I'm not mistaken, Chopper, I think, went up on QB's panel a couple days ago. Did you sing just a real quick little ditty dedicated to Betty, the braless wonder, to the tune of one of the Shania Twain songs, Feel Like a Woman, if I'm not mistaken? Somebody did. That was also brilliant. Hey, World Peas, how are you? Oh, all right, Chopper. I will reach out to you in the comments, and thank you. I'm very honored. Why is everybody painting their nails? Is today like National Nail Polish Day? And yes, that is a thing. I'm not even kidding. I don't know when it is, but or is everybody just like, oh God, this bitch again? Oh, I don't take myself so seriously. And I think some of you all in this neck of the woods, y'all ought to take a big old dose of that. Like, wow. We got some people here who think they're celebrities. You're not. No, you're not. Hey, Revival, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you are well. Hi, Sharon. How you doing? Big Little Lies. Yes. I did not read Big Little Lies, but I watched the HBO series and it was fantastic. You know what's funny? When I got the book, in my mind, I was thinking that Leanne Moriarty was, she wrote Liars Club. She's gone on to write many more books. Liars Club was her personal memoir. That was a fantastic book. She's gone on to write fiction now, but that's in my mind, that's who that was. But hey, Boots and Bourbon, how are you? Helen, how you doing? Hi, Jessica. Hi, Bo. Hi, Cassie. Brett's mom, it's nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. I love IGK products, honestly. And they're not even that bad retail, but they're fabulous wholesale. Hi, Auntie M. Nope, not baking soda. It would be a lot better if it was baking soda. That's actually a good idea. Oh, it's and if a God exists, which I very much think God does exist, that's why Betty is so strong in her belief that it is in fact her God. I wish she would exercise her God-given right a lot more than she does. Bitch, how you think that you, like, it really makes me wonder how, like, I would not dream of, and in my chair, like, you don't see anything except from here up. I can't imagine coming in. Listen, I don't even pull, oh, never mind. Nah, I was thinking of a legit, well, at one time he might have been legit, a mainstream media person during COVID. He had a suit on the top and nothing but a lot of enthusiasm on the bottom, we'll just say. I wouldn't even dream of wearing, just a nice like blouse and then sweatpants on the bottom. Never mind granny panties while streaming from my bed. That'd be a no. Nope. I do not get it. Hey, Eerie Sunset, how are you? I don't get it. I don't get it. Hey, PP Gate, how are you? I think I have some good behavior. All the stuff I bought last time were new products that names I didn't recognize. So, hi, my ladybug. I talked to Crazy Nurse last night. She'll probably wander on in here at some point today. Hey, Kathy P, how are you? All right, wait for it. The number one main ingredient in IGK's down and out dirty spray, butane. Yes, butane, as in lighter fluid ish. Yeah, that. My hairdresser was like, sparingly. I said, oh, yeah, when my hair's real clean, I don't do the like. Have y'all ever seen back in like Victorian times when men and women used to, like when the Sun King was in residence in Versailles? Remember when people used to powder their hair because that was their shampoo? That, and it was, that was trendy to have very pale, skin, hair. Well, what they would do to keep it from getting in their eyes and their nose and their mouth, they would put this giant cone over their face so that when their, handmaiden or slave, whatever, indentured servant was pushing that powder, it kept it out of the places you don't want it. So yeah, typically I would spray enough to probably contaminate most of my street because, for me, if one is good, well, 12 are better. But I said, well, when it's real clean, I spray it in the palm of my hand and I do this. And then I think it says to start at the root and work your way down. And a lot of products, it's the opposite. You only want it down here. You don't want it on the root. But yeah, when she saw it was butane, she said, well, that will be rather drying. So I'm like, but yeah, that's why I like it. So yes. And now that I know that, because believe it or not, this hair is wide open porous. So I find myself with several cans of IGK down and out that I'm not going to probably use in a lifetime now. Wish I'd known that before I paid black market price for them. So if you also love that product and cannot find it, hit me up, because chances are I've got a bottle or 6 under my counter. It's just like the damn, when you find a lipstick you love and you've already tried on like 97 of them at the counter, and you finally find one and you're like, oh my God, I love that. That's the one. And then they inevitably pull the drawer out underneath the display and say, okay, hold on, it might be in the wrong slot. And of course, I'm like, save your time. No, I'm telling you, it's not in the right slot. It's sold out, of course. Yeah, that happens to me a lot. So I don't know. My suggestion is, if you find a product you love, buy 12, because chances are it'll be discontinued. I mean, shockingly, I guess there's not that many people who want to spray butane into their hair. I looked at that and I was like, what? Butane? Maybe that's why they don't sell it anymore. I don't know. Okay. All right. Should we listen to my song? I'm so excited. All right. We're going to get rid of that one. Okay. All right. Now I see. I think this is. Yeah. Okay. Hold on a minute. All right. Let me share. Oh, wait. First, I want you to hear. No, fuck that. We're listening to mine first. I was going to say, first, I want you to hear Betty's. And I'm like, oh, no. God, fuck her. No, we're going to hear mine, because, of course, mine will be better. Okay. Am I sharing? Yes, I am. All right. Stand by. Let's full screen this bad boy.
Welcome to the stage, it's my time to shine. Got the spotlight on me and the outfits are fine. Today we're diving deep into the curious fashion and those crazy claims that cause such a reaction. Grab your popcorn, don't miss what's in store. We're here to dish it out, let's settle the score. Welcome to Lisa's show, let's get this party started. Crimes and fashion where the wild get charted. We'll laugh and we'll learn, so don't be shy. Just to impress, so just wave bye-bye.
Oh my God. I'm sending this to my mother. And you told me I would. One of my aspirations when I was a kid was to be a cocktail waitress and something else. And I know I've lived out at least one of those dreams. I'm so tickled. And you would be too. Come on.
Look at those looks, babe, they're begging for style. I'm here to illuminate, let's turn up the dial. Ignorant vibes and poor fits on display. Join me in laughter, let's have some play. No judgment here, just a little fun. Raise your glasses up, let's get it done. Welcome to Lisa's show, let's get this party started. Crimes and fashion where the wild get charted. We'll laugh and we'll learn, so don't be shy. Just to impress, so just wave bye-bye.
Like she's met me.
No judgment here.
That's the only part I was like, me? No judgment. She gets it.
It's a little fun. Raise your glasses up, let's get it done. Welcome to Lisa's show, let's get this party started. Crimes and we're dashing where the wild get charted. We'll laugh and we'll learn, so don't be shy. Just to impress or just to wave bye-bye. Welcome those looks, babe, they're begging for style. I'm here to illuminate the wild get charted. Welcome to Lisa's the show, let's get this party started. Crimes and fashion where the wild get charted. We'll laugh and we'll learn, so don't be shy. Dress to impress, so just wave bye-bye. Welcome to Lisa's show, let's get this party started. Crimes and fashion where the wild get charted. We'll laugh and we'll learn, so don't be shy. Dress to impress, so just wave bye-bye. Here's the deal, let's make it clear. At crimes and fashion, we've got no fear.
Oh my God, that I love it. And thank you so much. That's so cool. You know, that has made my entire subpar YouTube channel worth it. How many? That's what I'm, you know, to the doubters, I'm going to say, did you have a song written about you? No, I don't think you did. And listen, Chopper had no input from me except she said, "What kind of music do you like?" I'm like, "Yeah, pretty much anything." You know, I'm kind of basic where the music is concerned. I got to have basic somewhere in my life. I said, "Yeah, disco, pop, top 40. I like rock too." You know, I never really cared for country very much, but it's kind of growing on me. I mean, my son loves it. He's been trying to, you know, recruit me for a long time, but very, very sweet of you. I'm tickled to death. So thank you. And I really am going to send that to my mom. Next time she says, I don't know why you want to mess around with all that trash on there. Oh, mother, because there's, you know, it's Mom, that is only 99.5% of what I talk about. Now, come on. Don't be unfair. All right. Speaking of that, hey, Mama Bear, how are you? Okay. Look at that. Oh my God. That is so funny. Hold on. I need clarification on something here. Oh shit, I lost it. Hold on. Okay, hold on 1 minute. Scrolling. I like to have context. I don't like to. All right, no, I can't find what it was. Never mind. Nah, sorry. Pivoting back to where I was going. Okay. Before I came in here, and just a little bit on Monday, I popped into QB's. I was just listening as I was putting my face on. I was not in the chat. You guys, when I really have to get something done, but I want to listen, I just X the chat completely out, because I know if I see the chat, I'll start, oh, just one. And then that's it. And whatever I'm supposed to be doing doesn't get done. But I was listening to an agent with, it might have been Chatham County, in the Leilani Simon trial. The prosecutor showed her a binder that was 5 inches thick. And there were 7 more or 6 more. And the agent was testifying. Oh, they played Leilani's, what is the word we use? Are we not allowed to use the S word because of monetization? Because I'm not monetized. I don't care about that. Self-harm, we'll just say, where Leilani was going to self-harm. My first immediate thought was, she is, honey, an actress. You are not. And you are one of the ugliest fake criers I've ever seen. And when I say ugly, I don't mean her physical aesthetic. I mean, that is one of the cringiest sayonara. That was nothing but attention. And here's what some of you may not know, that I had another Crimes and Fashion a few years ago. And that first Crimes and Fashion, I myself blew up, just poured gas all over it and nuked it one day. And it was during the Quentin Simon debacle. It was when Betty and Dolly and Molly and Walter Mercado, they were all out there acting the damn fool. Just took over that neighborhood. Just an absolute white trash shit show, sideshow circus. Which is pretty typical in these kinds of situations. You've got people coming to stand in front of Billy Joe's house, screaming all kinds of, just awful shit before the child was even found, before Leilani was arrested. Didn't care about anybody else that happened to live in that neighborhood that, I don't know, wasn't accused of killing their child. But fuck them, who cares? But you had these people coming to meet, I guess, the white trash queen herself, Bullhorn Betty, like she's the leader of them. You have these people coming to stand out there and scream with her, who, oh yeah, they don't have their own children. Their own children are in the custody of CPS, but they think that they have the standing to go scream in front of someone else's house in the neighborhood. Yeah, you can't make that make sense. That's a mentality. That's a lifestyle. And hey, Stitching, how are you? And this country, yes, revival, not one tear. That bitch couldn't squeeze a tear out if she'd have eaten a habanero pepper and then like rubbed her tear ducts. She couldn't have squeezed a tear out, because it was all fake, phony bullshit contrived for attention. That's all it was. But nonetheless, so when I had my first channel, I was watching along with everybody else. And at that time, I didn't even know who Queen Bee was. Trying to think, where was I watching it? I think I was watching it on Savage's channel, because back then I was in Savage's channel a lot. So that's where I think I was watching it at the time. I did not even know Queen Bee. Hey, Tiffany, how are you? Hi, Firefly. I was so utterly, now I'm thinking about it. I was not even in this neighborhood. I was in this neighborhood adjacent. But I was so disgusted by what was happening and watching all the money they were making. And it was not definitely not jealousy, because I can promise you what they made the entire time they were out there. Yeah, not impressed. It was just the fact that clearly they were gaining all kinds of new subs. They were getting money thrown at them. People were sending food out. And I just sat back and was like, love you. Bye. I was sitting back going, I'm sorry. I will not ever succeed here, because I will never do that. Clearly that's what people want. I will never do that. So what am I like? I'm just wasting my time. And I did. I blew it up. I thought about it. I had a live that day. I ended it. About 2 hours later, I came in my office and and it gives you the option to put your channel on hold or something like that. And I was like, no, there's no holding. It's going. And that was because I didn't want to be able to just, come back in a couple days and pick right back up. Hey, Kelly, go lightly. How are you? Oh, thank you. You like my headpiece. I actually, of all of them, this is one of my favorites, but I'm going to save we'll call it the Dark Bride. I'm going to save that one probably as the last one because it's rather dramatic. They're all pretty dramatic, but that one really makes a statement. Anyway, yeah, I was just so disgusted by all of it. I thought, no. And I took about, I'd say 3 or 4 months off of YouTube. And when I say took a few months, 3 to 4 months off, I mean, I didn't watch it. I watched every episode of Yellowstone. I got real caught up on all my my queues, Netflix, Amazon, all my torrent TV. Yeah, I just needed to cleanse, we'll call it. And I really didn't think I would come back. But, there's only so much TV you can watch. And over, I'd say the last couple weeks, maybe, of my hiatus, I started thinking more frequently about, well, maybe I'll go back and I'll just change the name of the channel. I actually was even going to change my office, my wallpaper. I was going to have that redone into something just like fresh, clean slate. And then I thought, and I spent days looking at wallpaper. And then ultimately I thought, you know what? Fuck that. I love that wallpaper. I love this office. You guys only see that part of it. But this is something I've made this space what it is over time. I've collected art. And when I say art, I don't mean real art. I mean shit from Home Goods. Listen, I'm not bougie when it comes to art. I'd rather buy shoes and bags. I can find very nice art at Home Goods. Thank you very much. And I was like, no, I'm not. If I go back on my terms and I will do what I want to do. And I had another channel at that time that I started with White Rabbit at that time. And we never really, we were going to do it just to like review reality TV shows, that kind of stuff, not any of the YouTuber bullshit. Hey, Brittany, how are you? We gobshite. How are you? Are you by any chance across the pond? Something tells me. Anyway, I really strongly considered just using the other channel to come back with. And I still have it. It's called Fashionistas, Felons, and Fruit Loops. I used to stream simultaneously to both channels, but then it kind of got to, I was like, well, you know what? The crimes in fashion, at least people who followed me before, it has a little bit of name. People would know and remember that name if they had ever watched me before or hated me before, whatever. I mean, I'll take what I can get. But so I came back, and I think it was last March, maybe. I don't know, but I saw that day one of her trial started on Monday, and I was like, damn, has it really been? Did that happen in 21? I could have sworn they said 2021. At any rate, I saw the opening. I watched the prosecution's opening part of it, only like the first 30 minutes. And I saw he briefly introduced her bye-bye self-harm video on day one. I heard a little bit more today. And here's what I can tell you I have surmised about her. And I guarantee you that if you asked her own mother, she would probably agree with what I'm going to say. Because you don't have to be, you just have to have lived some life to be able to recognize this. She is a girl whose entire identity and self-worth was wrapped up in men, boys at that time. Probably. I mean, she's very young, isn't she? Isn't she in her early 20s? The children that she had, those 3 babies, those were just a product of her, what she sought to make her feel like she had some worth. It was in you could hear it in they were reading text messages from her to the boyfriend. And it was just all about, you don't want me, and I want you to, want to have sex with me like this, and look at me like you used to, and sounded like she was very jealous of any other woman he might even glance at. That is absolutely a sign of an insecure woman. You show me a woman that can't say something nice about another woman. I mean, I tell my husband all the time on the daily, if we're watching TV and, we watch a lot of The Five on Fox. I think Dana Perino is one of the most beautiful women in the world. I just think she's stunning. I can say that about all kinds of women, that not just if we go to a restaurant and the server is cute. Oh, she's a cute girl. Show me a woman who cannot compliment another woman, even one that is unattainable to the guy she's with, like, I don't know, somebody on TV. And that is someone who is wildly insecure. So her worth came from, and yes, let's not forget all the drugs. Her worth was wrapped up in what a man thought of her. And those children, I don't think any of them meant anything to her. I think they were, like I said, they were just a consequence of getting a guy to pay attention to her. So, and it's, it's funny because when I was younger, it didn't really bother me to listen to children's cases. And believe me, if you think she is the worst mother out there, I remember there was a case in, was it Texas? And the baby's name was Angel. I'm not even going to get into it because it will, that one of all the cases ever, children, adults, anything, that is one of the worst I've ever heard of in my life. But I find as I get older, I don't want to listen to a lot of things about kids. So, but that's just my thoughts on her. We did the book. Oh, Betty. Betty says she's lost everything. If I could have reached through that screen and bitch slapped her, that is how, like, we all know that hey, Mint Mama, how are you? We all know she's a wretched bitch. But I tell you what, I'm really beginning to believe that she's got some personality disorders that they have a code contained in the DSM, because I don't know how unaware and frankly mentally ill you would have to be to get out of your car and film your janky ass backyard that, let's face it, in the best of times wasn't exactly aesthetically pleasing. It's a shithole. Okay. Let's just boil it down to brass tacks. And to say that I've lost everything, knowing there are people in her own community that have legit lost everything. Everything. Their home, their sentimental items. I was at the doctor yesterday, and I asked the secretary, who, you go in and it's like you check in online before you get there. When you pull in the parking lot, you say, I'm here. You go in, they're pretty good. I've never waited more than a few minutes. But you get one person who takes you to the dreaded, what's the thing we all dread the most at the doctor's office? Even when we don't have any reason to. And let's face it, I may have 99 problems. A fucking scale ain't one. Okay. But nonetheless, I still am like, oh, for God's sake, do I have to get on that thing? Yes, you do. And believe it or not, there's a sign, an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper in probably 200 point font that says, do not remove shoes. Like, my God, you're not even going to let us shave off maybe, well, it depends on your shoes. Mine, they could have been a damn pound. So one person takes you to the scale. Somebody else comes in when you're in the room to take your vitals. Why the hell did I bring this up? Why did I bring this up? Oh, yeah. So the dreaded biatch who made me get on the scale. When she took me back to, do the hand off the vitals baton to the next nurse, they always go through like this checklist. Are you up to date on your mammogram, pap smear, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yes, that's another thing I just love coming here for. Gosh, I hope we can get together soon for a pap smear. Can you at least put, that I could really use a cocktail for, if you wouldn't mind. Oh, God, fucking, yeah. The last time I was there, fortunately, I've got several months before I need to do that again. Well, actually, in my case, well, no, because even if you have, oh yeah, how's this for a cruel twist of fate? Oh, great. Yeah, your last pap was normal. Okay, so we don't need to do that again for 3 more years. And you're like, oh, fuck yes, thank God, because because there's this bitch on YouTube. Her name's Bullhorn Betty. Yeah, she's got the green sheet that I just had the ass on. Yeah, she's got it in her window. Yeah, she's a cheap bitch. I know. I keep telling her that's not a green screen, but be that as it may, in her own words, quote, I'm a cheap woman. Yeah, even though you don't have to do that for 3 more years. Oh, wait, no, well, don't get too excited because you still have to have a pelvic every year. Oh, yay. But I said to the girl, hey, how did you, because if you're not like Betty and you're just even a semi decent human being, people that you are encountering now and probably for quite a bit into the future. Well, you just say the entire state of Florida was affected. You say, oh, how'd you do in the storms? And the girl yesterday said to me, well, I did okay with Helene, but with Milton, I lost everything. I was like, oh my God. I said, oh, I'm so sorry. I said, were you able to salvage any sentimental things? And she said, just a couple things that I was able to grab. And, she said, I've got kids that are, I think she said like 8 and 12 or 7 and 12, something like that. Hard, especially 12. I mean, and she said, not only did I lose everything, I had to take time off from work when you most need income. So it's just, so to hear her go in her backyard that's already could be mistaken for a fucking trash dump. I mean, before all this happened, her fence was like leaning not up, not vertical. The fence was starting to go horizontal. She's bitching about some janky ass rusted shed and a lawnmower that one of her neighbors gave her so that she, like, bitch, can you please mow your lawn? Oh, you go ahead. Keep that lawnmower that's from 1948. Yeah, it's yours. It's my gift to you. And I've lost everything. No, if life was fair, you would probably be able to legitimately lay claim to that statement. But life's not fair. And you're much like, you know, your day's coming. Because I'm convinced nobody, hey Emily, how are you? Nobody gets to be that shitbag person every day of their lives forever. So, she's kind of like a, in my mind, I compare her to like a single cell, kind of like an amoeba or a protozoa. Yeah, they don't really have any cognitive function. Um, and they're rather hardy. Like you just can't, it's really hard to get them to go away. And I think her life and her life, yeah, it's kind of the same way. Hey Jasmine, how are you? Not that and please don't take that literally, but you know what I'm saying? It seems the more deficient one is, the more hardy they seem to be. So, I thought it would be fun to pull up. My God, I have several things pulled up here. Let me tell you what I have pulled up. Okay, I have Today from Clipper. But I'm not sure if does Clipper care about that? Maybe I should probably grab it right from Betty. I think I'll do that. Just because Clippers is so new. I do have Blank Screen from a day ago pulled up, mainly for the filter because, girl, this is what the universe, well, you're already half the way there at least. This is the face that the universe is going to deliver to you. And a channel that I think is kind of new. I have one of their shorts. Well, it's 15 minutes long. Laura, I gotta say, girl, please, I'm not going to make Laura a special project because I got enough lost causes. Okay. I don't need to add to that pile. However, it does seem that there are a lot of people that like to hear Laura, the counterpoints to Laura's bullshit. So when I saw this channel called Perplex QT #1 fan, she does a little bit of, it's all commentary. She does it the way I used to do it. No playing anyone else's content, just giving her thoughts on something she'd watched. So I thought, that might be fun. It's about 15 minutes long. She says some hilarious things in there. So I was like, maybe we'll just do that. We'll play that and we'll play Blank Screens. Is this Betty's? Oh, it's Betty being triggered by Duty Ron. I have literally Davis Fam pulled up. That one's a little longer. We'll do Blank Screens first, just to look at the Betty girl. This is what you're going to look like, and it's. I would best describe this as HUD housing meets The Hills Have Eyes, exposed to radioactive nuclear waste, um, with really bad hair. Betty, girl, what I'm trying to figure out what is the strategy with the hair, Betty. Like, I at first thought, okay, she's gonna grow all that lint out. Oh God, she's gonna grow all that lint. I'm looking at it, and that's why I'm like, oh, well, yes, I should share with the class. Hey, Gina Marie, bucket o' bleach from Walmart. You know, the one that comes with a handy dandy handle, and it's blue. And she used it like shampoo. Just I think she thought she was going to get this DIY. And I mean, I guess you could if you brushed up on a high school chemistry class and watched a whole lot of Brad Mondo what not to do videos. Like, people oftentimes, I think people do not give hairdressers enough credit for the magicians slash geniuses that the good ones are. Because a good hairdresser like this is a formula that has been built over a long time. And Betty also, you know, in keeping with her very immature, childish, I want it now. Like, you do not go from non-blonde hair of any shade to platinum overnight. Like, it's a process. Not Betty. But you know, Betty, much like an electrician, a carpenter, a chef, an advocate, a journalist, an investigator, you know, all the things on her. My goodness, that 5-inch binder in Leilani's trial, that's what Betty's CV looks like. That's all of her jack of, well, never mind. I was going to say jack of jack all. Nobody's jacking anything where she's concerned. Um, yeah, she just add hairdresser to that because she can do everything except when she can't. Like, I don't know, speaking English. Betty is the only journalist, investigative or otherwise, who doesn't, I don't know, like I wouldn't call myself a journalist, but I can guarantee you if I did, I could get away with it. I could masquerade with the press pass. I could pull that off because I'm pretty literate and fluent in the King's English. Betty, not so much. So yeah, the hair. Let me share this one. We're not going to, well, wait a minute. Let me find that. Let me see if Betty's is the one. Oh my God. She's wearing Sonia, girl, you have got to listen. I know you probably don't want to take color theory advice from me. You should, especially since it's free. Well, to a point, it's free. Let's just look at this. Let's look at the bullhorn in all her glory on the front porch. Something tells me that's today at mommy's house. This is probably just a good excuse for Betty to move back home with mommy. Betty. All right, I got a lot of problems here. You want to get started? Oh, I just noticed this gem. I did not even know that they made these anymore. Vertical blinds? Seriously? I don't know. I just guessed that she was at her mom's house. Is this maybe her house? I don't know. Wherever it is, I'm surprised. I didn't know. You know what these remind me of? Every apartment I had in the 90s. Yeah, that's vertical blinds. I truly didn't know they had them anymore. Okay, let's move on to the shirt. Is this say MAGA? I'm sure the Donald would love to know that you have taken his intellectual property and slapped it on a Bullscorn Betty t-shirt. Sonia, girl, if you or the wearer actually give one good goddamn about the dumbass message, I don't know why you would, but if you did, clearly you took the trouble to make this abomination. Just a little friendly advice. This, much like Betty's background here, I don't expect that you'll have any idea who Diana Vreeland is. Look it up. One of her famous mantras that they actually named a documentary about her by this mantra. It is the title of the documentary. It's called, and her saying was, "The eye must travel." She didn't mean like this. She wants the eye to travel, as in you're interesting enough that somebody wants to like look from the top to the bottom or the bottom to the top. Here, you don't know where the fuck to look. Like, should I look at the shirt that looks like a seagull shit all over it? I'm assuming this is supposed to be paint splatter. But what it really looks like is like a bird. And since we're in Florida, I'll just say a seagull, because they're notorious for just shitting on you from right out of the sky. And actually, a lot of people say it's good luck. In which case, Betty is going to win all her lawsuits and buy the winning lotto ticket based on this shirt. But yeah, Sonia, this is all like nobody knows where to look. It's like a ping pong ball on crack. It doesn't know where to go. I mean, I don't know whether I should look at the Jeff Goldblum circa The Fly movie glasses that came from the Pilot gas station gift shop, or do I look at Joe Dirt's fall hairdo? Do I look at the vertical blinds? Do I look at the reflection from the vertical blinds? Do I look at, like, it's not enough that we got one box to put Bullhorn Betty in. We've got to then take another box and shift it slightly on a diagonal with all these different fonts. It's ugly. It's ugly. Period. End of story. I'm sorry. Sonia, I'm just trying to help you. I do not think this is where your particular, I know Sonia, you're a very religious woman, aren't you? Like, Sonia, I don't think that your God-given talents lie in t-shirt making. I think your God-given talents lie in being Betty's unpaid indentured servant / handler. In which case, well, I don't think those are your God-given talents either, Sonia. Sonia, I don't know. I don't know you like that, but I don't think this is it, Sonia. I just don't. And Betty, wow. I mean, I used to think, okay, as a self-professed cheap woman, of course she's not going to pay a stylist who specializes in color correction. She's just going to grow it out. Okay. Because let's face it, most people don't have 6 figures and 12 years to go to a salon and fix all of that. So I get it. She's taking the homeopathic approach. Just let it grow. And I think that's great. Even though I'm not a hairdresser, short of shaving it with a wall clipper, no guard, this is the next best thing. And I will say her hair grows very fast. However, what I do not understand is continuing to hold on to this fried lint, because she's got enough length now that she could chop it. Even if she'd still have some fried lint, melted lint. If she went right here, if we went right under the chin and off with her head. I mean, off with the dryer lint. Kind of like Alice in Wonderland. And she could have at least some healthy-ish. How about some regrowth? And I did hear someone, I believe it was Cluminati, who said, I don't know if Betty's if that's all gray, if it's blonde. I don't know what it is. I'm telling you, I know what it is by looking at it, because I've got a lot of gray. Betty's got a lot of gray. It appears that the natural color is probably some kind of light mousy brown, but she's got a lot of gray. And if she would just off with her head, off with the lint, if she would do that and invest in, let's face it, it's not like she's going to buy a Dyson, but invest in a decent round brush and a semi-decent blow dryer. And like I said, I know a Dyson's out of the question. Baby Bliss is probably out of the question. Just something decent that doesn't come from the shelves of Walgreens. Something, maybe even something that's $75, $50 to $75, not $4. She could make that hair look much better than it does. One of the things that really confounds me about her is, for one who is so thin-skinned, she refuses to do anything to appear to be more legitimate. And most people, listen, I know, I get it all the time. Oh, well, it's so mean. You don't need to go after her appearance. Well, to which I would say, if you want to be taken seriously and you want to call yourself all the things, well, perhaps you should look like you take yourself seriously. And I'm sorry, this doesn't scream seriousness. It screams lazy as hell and 0 F's to give. That's what it screams to me. But, oh well, who cares? So I think we should listen to that. Or, oh, hey, Crazy Nurse, how are you? Or should we find her video where I've lost everything. Hi, Amethyst. How are you? It's nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so we've got that. We've got blank screens. Same. I don't know if it's the exact same timing. It's the same live as literally Davis Fam. I don't know if it's the same timing. We've got that. And then we've got Perplex #1 super fan. And while I haven't watched the content that she's talking about, Laura, kind of like Betty, she's pretty much a one-trick pony. I don't think I need to watch the exact content. She does the same shit every day. So, okay. What do y'all want to do first? I think we can. Let me find Betty's channel and see if I can find that. I'm sure it's from today, I'm assuming. All right, let's see here. Lord, Betty. I refuse to sub to that bitch. Oh, but I hate to give her the view too. I don't want to do that. And Betty, what is? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. She's snarling. Oh, wait, here she's. Oh my God, I just noticed something. Betty, why is your second finger so much shorter than your third? Hold on. I have to share this. I've never noticed this until now because what kind of a dumbass? Wait, we're going to get rid of this one. What kind of an idiot? What grown-up woman? Ma'am, I occasionally use a selfie in a community post. Usually when it's like proof of life. I swear I'm alive. I know you haven't seen me in a while. I'm fine. And yes, I survived whatever cataclysmic event has happened. However, what I have never done is, Betty, did you just miss your era? Should you have been in the 60s? Peace pot and microdot? I don't know. Look at her fingers. I have never noticed this before. It's almost like, are they webbed? Well, we all have webbed fingers, but hers are. This is disturbing. Oh yes, it's this one. Okay, hold on. Look at this. Look at the disparity. Look how much long. Okay, so this finger. Look how much longer it is than the pointer. Mine's obviously everybody's, I think, is supposed to be, negligibly shorter. Did she lose part of her index finger? No, it doesn't look like it because here she's got. Wow. No more hate channels. Hate channels need to stop. Well, Betty, I think you're a hate channel. I think you hate everyone and everything that isn't intellectually deficient enough to view you as their leader. Yeah, I can't explain it. Wow. All right, so I really hate to give the bitch the view, so we're gonna put a pin in that one. Let's look at Blank Screen's wonderful filter of Betty, but it's not too far off. It won't be too long before this is exactly what she looks like. I think it's the second one. Yes, this one. Okay. Oh God, it's brutal. Oh, she's back to wearing that disgusting, Mommy, why didn't you love me? Sonia, let me guess, honey. Is this one of your brilliant creations? Sonia, we just talked about this. Or wait, is that? Yes, never mind. That's Betty's genius. Mommy, why didn't you love me? Why wasn't I enough? Well, what would you know about being a mommy? Thank God, nothing.
Stupid and unprepared, and
Betty, stop talking about yourself like that. Come on now.
How this alleged investigator doesn't know how to.
I said stop talking about yourself like that. Is she she's talking about Duty Ron. Ma'am, do you hear yourself right now? Do you hear how I'm just going to call it like it is, fucking insane. Do you hear how fucking insane you sound? You are talking to a retired New York City detective. Now, I get it. He was in the fugitive task force. Ed Wallace was, I believe, what we think of as like a major crimes detective, I think. I'm not certain about that. However, I do know that both of them were involved in search and rescue at 9/11. What did you do on 9/11, Betty? I have been to the 9/11 memorial, and it is, if you are in the area or you're planning a trip to New York, go. It's really sad, but I think every American should see it. Yeah. So let me get this straight. You, as an unemployed, IQ challenged, lonely, miserable, what does SF call her, failure at life? You, with your, the only thing on your resume that you can legit lay claim to is being involved in criminal behavior for a large part of your life and being embroiled in, lawsuits from Maine to Spain. But you are going to try and shade a real law enforcement officer retired. Okay, carry
to
on.
investigate squat. It's very telling that obviously he has a bias. We don't have it.
Betty, guess what? We all, except for your dumbass morons, we all have a bias. We have a bias against dumb fucks, against angry, mean, uninformed losers like you. So yes, we do. We have a bias.
Anything to do with Duty Ron. Occasionally he has some things to say that I like because he's a law enforcement.
Nobody has anything to say that you like unless it's you and you're going to steal their material
Personality
for your own.
But at the end of the day, if he can't,
he's not a law enforcement personality. He's a retired law enforcement. I would say you are except never mind. I was going to say you're a insert pretend job here personality, but you don't have any personality. You're just like a rabid, frothing, angry dog. So I'm sorry. Yes, I'll retract that, Your Honor.
see the forest for the trees, then he's no good at all.
I see the forest through the trees just fine. And what I see is the crazy forest.
And considering that he hasn't even done one scintilla of research on
how in the actual fuck would you know? Betty, I'm inviting you right now. Come debate me about, I don't know, any fucking thing in the world. That's my challenge to you. Come and prove. And tell all of us. See, because people like me, I would never dream of making such an absolute stupid ass statement. You know why? Because you have absolutely no ability to prove what you just said, which in my book, that makes you a blithering dumbass. But please come on over and tell me why you're not. Tell me why I'm wrong.
the real facts. That shows me he's not very good at his job. He's not a
Well, you don't have any fucking job. And even the pretend jobs you have, you suck at. So thanks for your criticism, ma'am. Nobody cares.
very good detective.
You have no
because
standing.
One thing detectives are supposed to do is research.
What the fuck? Really, ma'am? Maybe you should do some research. Did you just hear what I said? He was a detective with the Fugitive Recovery Task Force. He's not sitting around fucking researching. What are you researching, Betty? No, his job is to go out, seek, and find. Well, you're busy
And
researching.
research well, right? And do detective
You call yourself a journalist and you can't speak the English language beyond a average sixth grader.
work. So that tells me he's just a fat putz.
A fat putz? Really? Really? Well, ma'am, listen, I know you want to be me. And I tell you all the time, dream the impossible dream. Go ahead. Who am I to crush a girl's dream? But, maybe when I look at you, I think you look fat. I mean, in comparison to me, I'm like, I wouldn't have a problem bringing my jeans in here and measuring them live on the air. It's all relative, honey, like I like to tell you all the time.
Disgusting person that probably
I think that about you.
needs to maybe lay off the donuts.
Wow. Wow. You know, Betty, I listen to a lot of actual smart people. I've been trying to lower my YouTube intake. But it's a bad habit and old habits die hard. But in an effort to break those bad habits that die hard, I've been trying to, like elevate my intake. So I listen to women like Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, people like that, women like that. I know I've never heard a true journalist of any caliber, never mind that caliber. Yeah, they've never told anybody, they've never told a thin-skinned poser who can take, Betty, I got news for you, Pumpkin. You are Leilani. That's who you are. You just never had a baby, thank God. But your self-esteem is in the toilet, and that's why you have all this blustery, hateful rhetoric. Because God knows you don't have a man. So yeah, you come and dump your trauma all over YouTube, and like you don't even have enough wherewithal to know that you look like a damn fool. You look like a fool. Anybody, I am terrified for the state of the human race that there are 34,000 people who are clearly less capable mentally than you, who think that you are someone to be listened to.
And maybe start doing some actual research and investigation.
Says the career criminal. Yeah. Oh, I mean, says the career woman involved in criminal behavior who, just didn't get prosecuted all the time, but got arrested a whole bunch.
Before he opens his fat lips.
Oh,
just my opinion. But, I guess his buffoonery has gotten the better of him.
I think what you are calling buffoonery, I prefer his word, which is jagaloon. Doesn't he call them jagaloons? Yeah. Because he's got, too much class to call you what you really are, but I will.
Yeah. So we're going to leave it at that. I think he's a colossal piece of garbage. That
I think the feeling is quite mutual.
Clearly,
but he's got more dignity than to behave like you do.
He doesn't know how to do an investigation, and that's pretty scary.
Betty, why don't you come on over here and you explain to me how you come to all this bravado? Because you don't know a thing about the man.
Scary if he's this New York detective, right? So I'm going to be looking into his
Wait a minute.
Credentialing, which I've never done before, but
you are a fucking fool. Oh my God, are you a fool? And she's not going to do any of that. She's full of shit. This is what your average 12-year-old does when somebody that they, liked calls them out. And why she couldn't see this coming. I tell you what, I give the man mad props for waiting as long as he did to give her own dedicated episode. And let me tell you something, you vapid shitbag. I do believe when I left a comment on the very video that you are now frothing at the mouth about, I'm pretty sure his sub count was, it was well in excess of 250,000. What's yours? Yeah, I think that's, I think he had like 336,000. Oh, but you just keep on going, girl. I'm sure you'll be caught up to him in no time.
But I will be starting to look into his credentialing, because if he's going to come after me, buckle up, Buttercup.
Where do you get coming after you? telling you that you are full of shit in the most respectful way possible is not coming after you. And I don't know about you. Everything you do screams, I'm fucking stupid, and like all the cylinders, they ain't firing. Because, and I'm sorry, Your Honor, I forgot. Unquenchable thirst. Because only a damn fool. It's one thing to talk shit about another YouTuber. It is quite another to fuck around and find out with someone who is going to actually be adjudicating your alleged protective order violations. Yeah, the judge. So there's that. And now you want to fuck around and find out with a retired law enforcement. Do you think that Duty Ron doesn't have he's got more tools in the toolbox than the average YouTube flunky like you and me? At least I look good doing it, and
that's all I gotta say.
Intellectually miles above you.
And when he goes too far,
but we're both insignificant. Make no mistake.
I'll see him soon. You know, when he goes too far, I'll see him soon.
God, like, could you go to Molly's Trough? Well, never mind. I don't think she has an opening for you anymore.
And I'll see him in court. We don't have a problem with these yahoos. And
you gonna sue him too? Oh, okay. Are you gonna sue me? Just wondering.
Suing them. So
just remember what I said. You won't cost me 1 red cent, because I wouldn't waste 1 red cent fighting you in court. I don't need to.
We will be doing that because I'm not allowed to have an opinion of 2 people that may have unalived their child.
Yes, you are.
He can have his opinion of me being a psycho, but
everybody is, and you act like a psycho. And he is not the only one who thinks you behave like a psycho. And a whole lot of other people. Honey, if you don't like the way that people view you, why don't you change your behavior? Or be like me and don't give a fuck. I do not care. But I'm not a circus grifter. I'm not on here calling what I'm doing a job. But if I was, I'd be your boss. I'm smarter than you. I'm 100 times easier to look at. And I don't need people's money. So
that's okay. And he doesn't deserve to go to jail, but I do because of my opinion.
It's not because of your opinion, Betty. It's because you have some kind of problem. I'm quite certain it is likely contained within the DSM. If I had to guess, and I'm not diagnosing you because I'm not a shrink, I can point you in the direction of a few who are, they have channels and they're legit shrinks. But if I had to make a layperson's guess, I would say oppositional defiant disorder, because you are riddled with, like, your self-worth is in the trash. I mean, and for that, I'm sorry for you, but you're not looking at jail anywhere because you have an opinion. Do you think I have plenty of opinions about you and everybody else, but I'm not worried that I'm going to go to jail over them. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that someone who has one of these and a very, like, chic black robe told you exactly what you could and could not do. It's your fault if you got a lawyer that didn't know that the redress for your gripes, well, that's called an appeal. Apparently, according to the judge, it's not called a motion, a 6-0 whatever. That's what this is all about. You're a child, Betty. You're 12.
He's an idiot. Okay, pure and simple, a freaking idiot from a piece of shit area, and they probably do.
A piece of shit area. Bitch, have you ever heard of a little place called the Hamptons? Probably not. And God knows if you rolled into the Hamptons in your fucking hoopty, that's probably like sputtering black smoke everywhere you go. Oh, they'd pull you over in a hot second. They would just assume you were there to go scrub someone's toilets. But yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly where he lives, but I know he's never made a secret of the fact that he's on Long Island. And yeah, look it up, Betty. The Hamptons, Montauk. Oh God, what are some of the other? Oh, I don't know. Give me a minute. I'll think of some.
Piece of shit work. Don't care for him. Don't like him. I could care less what his opinion about me is.
Oh, I think you care very much, which is why you're going off on this fucking unhinged, psychotic sounding tangent. Well, you said it yourself.
You never know. He might get to meet me in person.
Oh, I hope he does. Oh, Betty, I really hope I hope you manifest that little prophecy. Oh, please do.
With my bullhorn and a sign, because I'm constitutionally allowed to peacefully assemble.
I'm a constitutionally allowed, irredeemable shitbag. Okay, got it.
Wherever the hell public property is.
If I had to lay money on who knows the Constitution more astutely, you or Duty Ron, I'm pretty sure I'm going to lay my odds on Duty Ron.
Yes. And I'm going to stand on that.
Why don't you stand on that bag of whatever the hell you're shoving in your pie hole? Because, better slow down, Betty. You already wear pajama jeans. I mean, like, stop.
But I think he's a piece of garbage.
I think the feeling is, I don't speak for him, but if I had to guess, I would say the feeling is probably mutual.
He doesn't do good research. So we're going to get.
What kind of research, might I ask, does one need to do to make the determination that you're an irredeemable fucking asshole? How much research does one need to do? And how does one prove one's research that one does with one's eyes and one's ears and one's brain?
Get off of that and move on.
Oh, please do.
Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers.
Oh, of course. Wayne Drake Rogers. Oh my God. Wow. Yes. Hello, Cameo. How are you? Plain nice. I love this. I think you're right. Hey, Rebel Soul. How are you? And listen, I have some t-shirts. There's a line of t-shirts that I absolutely adore. I mean, they're called Magnolia Pearl, and I wear them a lot. I live in t-shirts. However, your point, I know exactly what you're saying. Like, it would be one thing if you're just like, I don't know, like me. I lay no claim to anything except the truth. I'm a subpar YouTuber with a stable internet connection, some free time on my hands, and a lot of clothes I want to wear. Period. End of story. And at least I put the effort in. You know, I put a full beat on. I get dressed up. I try and entertain you. And if I'm not, in a good place mentally, like Betty, which I guess she wouldn't have a channel if she had to use my rubric. But, if I'm not having a good day, or if I got a lot of things to do, whatever, I don't come in here and vomit my unhappiness all over you. No, I just don't go live that day. But yeah, she's a slob. I mean, she is a slob. She makes no effort to do anything. Like, what woman besides Molly Go Home sits on camera shoveling shit in her face and doesn't even have enough manners? How about just manners? Forget class. We know there's none of that. No. Yeah, somebody went very wrong early on. But like, not even manners, not even enough manners to know that. Listen, I would wither away to a pile of ashy rubble before I would sit here and fucking eat on camera. And at least if I did, I would use at least 2 forks and I would close my mouth. And I don't chew like it's cud. Betty, not so much. It's just she has no respect for herself, which is why she has no respect for anyone else. It's not a mystery. Okay, so we got that one out of the way. Oh, let me put Blank Screen's link in the chat. Everybody knows who Blank Screen is, but I will say when he first got a channel, I myself had a hard time finding it. So there's Blank Screens. All right, so we're gonna get rid of that one. Bye-bye. Let me just listen in real on my own before I share to literally Davis Fam and see if she got the same. It's the same. There might be another minute on at the end. Let me see. I'm a constitutionally allowed to peacefully assemble. Okay. Okay, Betty. Yep, got it. All right. Should we do some Laura? How about a little Laura? Or actually, it'll be perplexed. I like to call her perplexicuted. It'll be perplexed CPS. No, perplexed QT #1 fan. Let's listen to a little bit of this just for shits and giggles. All right. I'm sorry, you all. I was not prepared. I wasn't positive I was coming in here. And I thought, come on. It's not as if we are rolling around in the ivy covered, hallowed halls of even the University of Phoenix, never mind fucking Harvard. So it's not as if, or I'm sorry, let's use Betty's alma mater, Kaiser College. It's, I'm sorry, I fell down on the job. Just like Betty says, you didn't do any research. Well, sorry, Betty. I'm sorry. I don't claim to be a researcher. This, like I said, I'm much like yourself. I have a shitty subpar YouTube channel. Okay. Unlike you, at least I get dolled up and I try and entertain the people. But I must admit, I'm just a little unprepared. Not that I'm ever but truly I came in here and I was just like, okay, what are we going to talk about? Is this for perplexed? Hey, Blank Slate, how are you? Oh, listen, the universe it's dropping Betty's karma one homeowner problem at a time. Oh, should we find that? I've lost everything. Wait, I have to have a palate cleanser of Laura. Although it won't be Laura, it's gonna be Perplex QT #1 fan. And we're gonna play her commentary, and I'm gonna say whether I agree with what she's saying or not. It'll be fun. All right. Her link is in the chat. And let me share with the class. Oh, I bet she was fucking mad the other day when I I just had some thoughts for her. All right, let's see here. All right. Shall we? Yes, we shall.
Other shit show.
Sub up to this channel. This is a brand new channel. Yeah, I mean, it appears to be a brand new channel. And I honestly, I've listened to several of her. I've looked at a lot of her posts, and I've listened to several of the videos. And I think she's more fair than I would care about being. She's definitely more fair in her commentary on Laura than Laura's ever been about anyone on YouTube at all. Oh my God. And I have to say, I'm not going to play it because I'm not. But yesterday I had to drive from Maine to Spain. I was in one city at 9:15 in the morning. I was in another city and county at 11 o'clock, or no, 12 o'clock in the morning, in the afternoon. And then back through another city before getting home. I had a lot of time in the car. So I didn't want to listen to Leilani. So I listened to Makeup Mobster from, what day was it? I don't think it was that. It might have been Monday. It was called Feeling Inspired. And she found, apparently Makeup Mobster, when she lost her mother, she did something, and I think it's been several years. She did something she calls her grief series, where it's just what it sounds like. I have not listened to it, but she talks about losing her mother, and I guess how she got through that and what helped her, blah, blah, blah. Well, apparently Perplexed did her own series on her custody battle with, I believe, the husband that she was involved in the custody battle with is no longer alive, which obviously is very unfortunate for her son. However, even when I used to talk to Laura, when I say talk to her, I mean, I never talked to her out of YouTube, text or email, but never conversation, like live conversation. But even when I would, either email or text her, it would be typically I would listen to her in the morning when I was doing whatever I needed to do to get, my day going. And oftentimes I would find myself saying exactly what I'm going to say now to her. I'm listening to you from typically yesterday, and I'm screaming at you. Well, I don't talk to her anymore, but nonetheless, I was still screaming at her yesterday as I was listening on my way home in the afternoon. Her child custody series, I guess, call it whatever you want. I don't know. Makeup Mobster found it. And I guess it's just what it sounds like. She made a series of videos about her custody battle with, I don't think they were married, but her son's father. Laura, I've never steered you wrong before, and I'm not going to steer you wrong now when I tell you. You should immediately take, at the very least, what I heard. I think I heard Makeup Mobster say it was 4 or 5 videos. You'll know the one I'm talking about, Laura, because, well, I heard it on Makeup Mobsters. Girl, for the sake of your child, take that shit off of social media, please. Who in the actual fuck wants to listen? And if this goes for anybody, not just her. Listen, my son is closer to 30 than 20. So I use this for myself. I'm not just saying this to everybody else. I may say things that I shouldn't say, but I can tell you this. I've got self-control, and I have never said all my content, it's all here. And I might have to explain some of it if my family decided to listen to it. My mother has a life and lots of things to do. Listening to my garbage YouTube channel is nowhere on that laundry list. My son, I don't know why, but he occasionally listens. He just thinks it's funny. But I can promise you, I've never said anything that would cause me to be embarrassed. And if I did, it would immediately disappear. I'm just going to give you a piece of advice. There is not a child in the world. I don't give a damn whether it's an adult child, a high school child, a tiny child that's going to grow up. that wants to hear their mother talk about her sex life. It's really fucking gross. If I had $1 for every time she talked about the great sex that was oftentimes drug fueled. I mean, I was literally in my car going, oh my God, like, make it stop. Why are you doing this? Laura, for the sake of your children, private that shit. Your kids don't ever want to see that. I'm going to be old enough to get Social Security next year. And by the way, she's almost my age. In fact, I think we might be 1 year apart, but that's it. I can tell you this, as far as I'm concerned, the stork delivered me. I mean, I do not ever, I don't care how old I am. I don't ever want to think about my parents doing the deed. Never mind one day stumbling across my mother telling all of social media about it. Gross. Just a little friendly advice from me to you.
All
right.
From Laura.
I'm not going to say that I wish I knew who this was, because clearly they're disguising their voice for a reason, but it's hilarious. It is hilarious.
She's, I guess, now back in true crime again. She'll be back in drama very shortly, I'm sure.
Did she ever leave? She might be able to fool herself into thinking that she left the community. Oh my God. Listen, I've been around here a lot less time than many people, and I fully acknowledge that. But even I've been around long enough to know that, every 12th hour, she makes her Oscar acceptance speech about how she's leaving the community. Bitch, you're not leaving. You've never left. Talk to me when you've blown a channel up.
She's doing this coverage on Wade Wilson, but she's not actually doing coverage.
Laura, do you have the hots for Wade Wilson?
She's playing phone calls. Now, you might say, well, that actually does sound interesting. And I agree, except for
not to me.
The fact that all Laura's...
But I get it. There's a lot of people that are, let's face it, he's not like my thing. Every time I look at Wade Wilson, I think of the Tim Burton's, is it The Nightmare Before Christmas? The one where it's like a baseball that's got a happy face stitches, crude stitches across his face. That's what I think when I look at Wade Wilson. He's your quintessential bad boy. I went through my bad boy period, trust me. But so what? There's plenty of fine looking men in this world that haven't killed a bunch of women.
Find these phone calls herself. She didn't, pay $30 or whatever for a FOIA request to get these phone calls.
Oh, I think those phone calls, add at least 2 zeros on there. And that's probably the amount of the phone calls.
All she's really doing is she's playing content from another creator who already has a big following. And all she's doing is doing her usual hilarious. Play somebody's content and insert some sit down or
sit the fuck down. We can't do it like JP can, but sit the fuck down.
That's stupid.
I'll wait.
She doesn't add anything to it. She doesn't make it her own. But, whatever. Why should we care about her true crime content? Well,
and in full disclosure, I have never seen her true crime content. I know that she, I believe, came into social media at just the right time when I think it was around COVID days and the Making a Murderer series came out. And apparently she gained quite a following from that.
It took Laura 12 minutes into her live stream to actually get to the call. She spent the first 12 minutes.
I can't say anything about that. As we all know.
Complaining
I'm long
about how her subscriber count has plummeted. She's not getting super chats. She's not getting cash apps. Her candle sales suck.
I haven't listened to all this. I only got about 2 minutes in. something tells me there is no point in which she's just a wheel on a hamster. She just doesn't get it. She doesn't want to get it. There's a reason for all of that, I would imagine.
Everything is going horribly for Laura. And Laura's blaming it on the fact that she doesn't use clickbait titles.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't think it has anything to do with that. And I don't know if she does or not because I don't go to her channel. I don't look at her page. I would say it has more to do with the fact that you couldn't possibly be this obtuse. If you are, you and Betty need to team up. You could help her for sure. You're definitely more savvy than Betty. But I refuse to believe you're this obtuse.
And other
You
people.
know why? You know why? If all of that is true, you know why that is.
This is always what Laura does. She never looks at herself and goes, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to change?
Kind of like Betty.
About my own behaviors,
Nothing.
about my own.
Nothing, because she wouldn't have done X if you hadn't done Y.
Content, it's always, well, it must be because I'm not doing this or this or this. And
do you think it's because you're, Laura, maybe you're not dedicating enough of your free time to your this is your job, so your professional time. Maybe you're not putting in a full work day. I don't know.
Say what you will about clickbait titles. The people that do clickbait titles but continue to get views are getting those because they have good content. I personally, if you have a clickbait title and it's truthful, then great. If it's not truthful, I kind of agree with her. You shouldn't put that in. But at the same time, Laura, that's not why you're not getting viewers. You're not getting viewers because you suck at true crime. You don't make it interesting. First of all,
all you do is bitch. All you do is bitch. I mean, I get it. We are all who we are as people. We all it's hard to change. I get all that. But if I said it before, you're just miserable. And it's like wah, wah, wah. I mean, if you had a sound effect, that would be it. I may be a bitch too, but at least I will jump through burning hula hoops to make you laugh while I'm busy being a bitch.
Mean. You're just a mean person. And Laura won't ever take criticism. She'll never look and go, man, everybody tells me that I'm mean.
No, it's just like Betty. You're all wrong. And they're right.
Is it because they're all jealous haters that need to sit down?
Or I promise you, I'm not jealous and I don't hate you. No.
Or is it because I actually am mean? And it's because you're actually mean, Laura, and you don't make it your own.
I would agree. I would agree. You say, and please don't confuse that with her not having the right to talk about whoever and whatever she wants. She absolutely has that right. But when the only side of you that anybody sees is hard and venom, I mean, just try and sprinkle something else in there. It might help, just break it up a little bit.
You don't make things interesting. You just play other people's content, which, yes, true crime commentary, I understand. Some of that is
very saturated.
Playing other people's content, but she doesn't add interesting facts. Everybody's just more stupid than she is, and they're, all these.
Listen, you can tell people they're stupid, they're unattractive, blah, 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 but you gotta be able to poke. Here's something I've learned, and I'll tell you this because you're never gonna, even though it would suit you well and Betty and everybody else who's got that kind of personality. and this is something I've seen in Molly Go Lightly too. I learned a long time ago that the best way to, and it's really good with women, and come on, most of this community is women, but this is something that works particularly well when you're walking into a room of women. Because let's face it, we are petty bitches. Some of us much more so than others, but people will give you the chance that they may not otherwise give you if you show them right away that you can be self-deprecating, that you can make fun of yourself, that you can bust on yourself. It works wonders. You should try it. But I can do it because it's genuine and I really feel like that. I think if you are like a Betty, or like I think Laura is, insecure, you can't do that. Both of them are really angry, and they come across as, you know, and I don't mean, they're not like, I don't see them like this. I don't. I think Laura's definitely brighter than Betty. I don't know. I'll just leave that right there. But they're both very angry, and neither one of them can. It's just anger all the time. It's just nastiness and venom and anger and blah, blah, blah. And listen, I know I there's certain people that I can really ride their ass, but that's because they're such big assholes. But I can sincerely poke fun at myself along the way, and people appreciate that. And you know why? Because it comes across genuine. So I guess I would say it's real cringy when people do it who, you know, it's just acting. If you can do it and it's genuine, that'll take you a long way.
Bad things, whatever bad things she can come up with. She's a genius. Nobody's smarter than Laura. Like, those are basically what her true crimes are. And now nobody really even watches her drama anymore.
I don't know.
Because Laura's drama is the same thing. Ugh. I am so tired of the hypocrisy. All of these people want to call me out for all of the things that.
That's why her name is Perplexecuted, because she has a persecution complex, much like Betty.
I did 3 years ago, but nobody calls out anybody else. And Laura will do that.
You know what my prediction is? Well, it's not a prediction because it's in the past. But I believe if she had handled that right, and forget about the first apology, I'm talking all the subsequent apologies, she wouldn't have had to make 12,000 of them if she would have just take a minute, just sleep on it. I mean, make a community post and say, I'll be addressing this tomorrow or fucking next week, whatever the case may be. And then you just come on and you say just what I said before. You can't, like, it's the old adage, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink. You can't teach somebody these things. And depending on their level of, which is a paradox, I will admit, but to me, it's equal parts insecurity, inadequacy, and hubris. All throw it in the ninja. And that's what you get. You get a fucking defiant, doesn't play well with others, even though everybody else thinks it's very simple how you could have made. It really is. It's not rocket science. She could have. I truly believe she could have not only she could have put this to bed in the best way possible and made a comeback. Probably by now, had she done it right, instead of the way she not only did it, but continues to do it. You cannot scream at somebody about how you're sorry, I'm sorry, everybody else is so much worse and done so much worse. Like, the reason it's not working for you is because it comes across as it is completely inauthentic and total bullshit. Like, I'm saying this because I know I have to fucking say it, but fuck her. I don't give a shit about her. And I was right. And I wouldn't have done it if not this, then not that.
She will do that for like 2 hours.
Well, is a CPS.
2 hours she'll do that. So she starts off by bashing her true crime live, by bashing other people.
That's all she ever
superior
does.
she is. And it's like, no, Laura, you're not getting people.
I would say she's that woman that can't compliment another woman.
Because A, people don't want to be associated with a CPS caller. I know for you that was 3 years ago, but somebody left a comment. I don't remember who it was, but they made an interesting point. Yes, Laura,
Before
for
I
you,
forget this, because sorry, I'm old, and I will forget. I heard Makeup Mobster. She made an interesting observation as she was, because I guess somebody dug out the grief series and decided they were going to review it. So Makeup Mobster decided, and listen, I'm saying right now, Makeup Mobster, to me, she keeps it going by constantly reviewing her. But after what's been done to her, who am I to tell her what to do? And she's the only one who has to deal with those choices. But I will say something she said that now it's undeniable. I heard her say in the past that Laura doesn't think it's a big deal that she called CPS on her because they'd been in her life from the way back days. And I heard Laura's own words, and that does indeed sound like up to several years ago that was the case. So, and that doesn't happen by accident. And Laura, I'm sure you hate my guts now, and that's okay. But I'm telling you, and I this is coming from nothing but the best place and well-intentioned. I'm telling you, if you never listen to another thing that anybody says to you on here, I would highly encourage you to make, well, I don't think it matters now because I'm sure a million people have it screen recorded, but for the sake of your children and the memory of their father, I would remove all of that content. It does nothing. It doesn't do. If that was me, I would not appreciate either one of my parents putting all that information out there.
3 years ago. But for other people, it was brand new. We just found out about it. You lied about it for 3 years, and it shows a pattern of vile behavior. So people don't want to be associated with the CPS caller. And you suck. You suck at this. I think it's time. And if I was Laura,
Your Honor assumes, well, never mind. Your Honor, that is a matter of opinion.
And was 73 years old, you still got a long time ahead of you, Laura. Go make a difference in the world. Like, do something productive. You could even like a customer service job. That's a wonderful job.
I think, and I'm not just saying this. I truly believe she could do a lot of things. Her personality, that in your face, brash personality, I think there are things that she could be well suited for that would be so much more rewarding than this. I don't know what they are. I mean, I couldn't sit here and articulate them without thinking about it, but there are definitely things that personality type are well suited to. Like, I don't know, sales, Laura. You could still do your candles, but I tell you what, I think if I was you, I would try and find a sales job. And I'm not talking, I have a family member that's in sales in one, I'm not going to tell you what kind, but I'll just say this. They told me that they knew along when they started their career, they knew that their choice was be in this industry and sell a lot of small things, or go after sell only one or two really giant things. And they decided that they would go after one or two giant. Instead of a guppy, they were going to go after the whales. And incidentally, that's what they call the high rollers in casinos. They call them whales. And this family member decided to pursue whales, not guppies. And my goodness, has it paid off? Not everybody can do it, but there's just like, I think there are things she could do with her personality type that are would possibly be far more beneficial than hawking candles on YouTube. Because if you can't sustain a business outside of the fickle nature of YouTube subs, that's a hobby.
Yeah. Go, I don't know, work at Kroger. You could help people. You could sell burner phones. I don't know. Something that you would know about.
That's pretty funny.
This is not for you. You suck at YouTube. You suck at drama, because all of your drama now is just bitter. You don't.
Yeah, I know. I hear a lot of people talk about the drama community from years ago was much better, much different. I'm sure it was. This pretty much is a cesspool. But yeah, you're angry. You're a lot like Betty in that respect. You're angry just like she is.
Bring anything new. It's just bitter. Nobody wants to have you up on their panel because you're mean and nasty. Nobody wants to come up.
Yeah, you know what? I think Laura prides herself on being that person who will say the thing that most people won't. And there are circumstances where that's good. It's not good every day of your life. It's not. You don't always need to be the one that people sit back and go, "Oh my God, I cannot believe that bitch said that."
On your panel.
And Molly's like that too.
Because you're mean and nasty. So we'll play just a little bit of this.
Oh,
I see people growing rapidly from total clickbait.
So why don't you do it? Oh, let me guess, because you're too, like, your morals are too that's too morally offensive to you.
So I'm trying to stay true to my audience, but I'm telling you, it's getting really tough.
Then do what you have to do. You'll get a new audience.
Clickbait titles seem to be.
Laura, your problem is not fucking clickbait titles, and you know it.
Be what people want. I don't know why, but they do.
So give them what they want.
So let's get into the clickbait title that drove me fucking nuts today.
Oh, I can't wait to hear what this is.
People don't want to honesty. It's spinning all over the place. And as a creator who's always tried to stick to honesty, it's
okay if you say so.
It's wearing me thin. Like, why bother? It's people don't want honesty. People don't want people to own shit.
See, this is people's problem with you. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm not going to say what I've said 1,000 times.
Don't want real.
And she's full of shit. She knows better. And if she doesn't, then she really does need to team up with Betty.
Titles. They just want clickbait. They just want liars. They want scammers.
Your problem is not clickbait titles. Your problem is, much like Betty, you have little to no impulse control. You say filthy, vile, horrible things to people, and then you think you get to dictate the terms at which people decide to forgive you.
That's what they want. It's
Oh,
been
yeah,
proven
you're right.
over.
Then why don't you give them what they want? Because I would say, in comparison to the things you've already done and admitted to, doing a clickbait title is nothing. So give them what they want and make all your dreams come true.
And over and over and over
You know how
again.
dumb you sound?
So I don't know.
I don't know. I don't either. Either give them what they want or stop caring.
So it's
Be like
funny that
me.
Laura says
Be like me, Laura. Be satisfied with obscure mediocrity.
she always has tried to be honest and do things honestly. You mean honest like running a service dog scam? You mean honest like running a loyal fundraiser scam? You
I
mean
hear about that all the time. I don't know what that's for. Unless
honest
it's the
like calling
CPS,
CPS
like,
on somebody, lying about it for 3 years and blaming other people? You mean honest like most likely calling CPS on yourself 5 times in order.
I'm not even going to comment on that because I feel like I have not been around long enough to comment on that. I don't know her like all these other people know her. I know there are more than one person who seems to believe that she very much was capable of calling on herself. I'm not going to say that because I was not around back then. And that would be me coming from nothing more than I'm just, for me, that's a bridge too far. Because I don't have the information, I don't have the knowledge base. So I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt on that.
To gain super chats and
I have a feeling this person has been around a while.
followers. That's what you mean? Laura, there's nothing about you that's honest. Nobody thinks this. You're the only person that actually thinks this. Laura has no ability to just self-reflect and say,
Doesn't appear
this is why people don't like me.
No.
This is what
Much
people
like
don't
Betty.
like about me. I am mean. No, she can't do that. There is something in her brain. And I know narcissist is thrown around a lot. And maybe it's not narcissism, but there is.
I think much like Betty, it's hubris and insecurity in equal parts, and you throw it in the blender and it just doesn't, you get what you get.
Opinion, some
You
sort
might
of
get what?
personality
Well, no, you
disorder
never
with
get.
Laura.
That's funny because with either one of them, you never get any self-awareness. So I don't know. But to me, I think hubris is different than narcissism. They're similar, but what's ironic is I don't think I've ever listened to Laura where she has not labeled someone a narcissist. Of course, not her though. No.
That prevents her from truly self-reflecting. Like she can say things like, "Oh,
And you know, a lot of the reason I say listening to her child custody series or whatever you want to call it, whatever she called it. Just listening to what she accepted from that relationship that she was, chronicling. That doesn't exactly indicate good self-esteem. So, and that's not a dig at her. Hell, I have resembled that at times in my life. Thank God it's been a long time, but I think every woman, unless you're exceedingly fortunate, I think almost all women at some time or another have had self-esteem that's not where it should be.
Understand I'm not perfect. No, it's not that you're not perfect, Laura. It's that you're vile and you don't change. And if I was doing a job
looking at
and nobody was, which is what you call what you do on YouTube, and nobody was interacting, nobody was supporting me anymore, I wouldn't say, well, it's because I'm not using clickbait titles. I would say, what is it that I'm doing wrong? And
I can tell you what, and this is probably a good place to end this because this is only from yesterday and this is a newer channel. I don't want to play. I would rather you guys go there and listen. I don't need to play all her. Hey, Running Bear, how the hell are you? I haven't seen you in a while. Bob is here. Oh, Bob looks so smashing today. Very debonair. Yes, I did. I had to drag my ass out of bed at dark 100 to get him the damn groomer. Oh, I've had a couple very early mornings these last few mornings, and tomorrow I'm not getting up early, which means I'll quite naturally be up at 5:00 since I don't have to be. But yeah. So yes, please go to Perplex QT #1 fans page and finish listening to that if you are so inclined. But I have to say, I was kind of glad that I listened to things from the past and not just clips, but something that was more than just a few minutes here and there. And yeah, I think, listen, every one of us, we all have issues, we all have things we deal with, but oftentimes we recognize in other people things that we have struggled with at some point in our lives. And I don't know, sometimes I think it would be very beneficial for all of us to, sometimes you just have to be willing to sit back and say, you know what? Everybody isn't wrong. Now, for me, that did not come from YouTube. And I'm not saying that anybody else should take it from YouTube, but life is a learning curve. It is, and it's a steep learning curve. And if you do anything right, you get to a point, you're lucky enough to get to a certain age, and you're lucky enough to get to sit back and say, oh my God, if I had known then what I know now, we all have things we would do differently. Absolutely. Myself, listen, just because I make more of an effort than a lot of people, that's my armor. Betty's is being a stupid slob, and having a really big, shitty mouth. And I get it's easy to recognize things in other people that, I don't know, maybe we couldn't recognize in ourselves. But I think there definitely comes an age where if you haven't learned these lessons and at least applied them in some way to your own life, I'm pretty sure, God willing, and if I'm very blessed, I'm more than halfway through my life. And I can definitely look back in hindsight and, this place is filled with a lot of different personalities. I would be lying if I said that I could not see a little bit of myself in a lot of different people. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to admit who they are, but at least I recognize. I think some of these people, and all I would say to people like Betty and Laura is, and what's funny is I've heard Laura many times get incensed because someone compared her to Betty. I'm not a fucking trend. I'm not, sit the fuck down. I'm not a fucking trend. You show me where I've ever, oh, wait. I feel like Laura and Betty both require Kevlar for listening. But honestly, like I said, they're definitely different in some ways, but I see some similarities. And you don't have to admit it to anybody else, but if you don't ever get to the point in your life where you can acknowledge, at least to yourself, and you don't need to acknowledge it to anybody else, but I gotta say, I'm very glad that for any number of reasons, I no longer am the same person that I was when I was in my 20s. I honestly, I don't think these two could say that. I think both of them are very much the same person. I mean, I obviously I don't know either one of them when they were in their 20s, but I do. Well, we know what Betty was doing based on her criminal record. And I got to hear Laura in her own words talk about I mean, and honestly, I there were parts where I was screaming at her like, what the fuck is wrong with you? There were parts where I was like, oh my God, that's so sad. Like, no fucking man. I don't care if he's the one who is the father of your children. There is no man that is. I'm trying to remember where I heard this. But any relationship that makes you more unhappy than happy, well, there you go. That's your answer, that you need to get out of it. And some of the things Laura was saying yesterday, listen, I'm the first one to admit I did a lot of stupid shit. I did some fucked up shit. When I was young, honest to God, but I can tell you this, and there's not a person that knows me that wouldn't agree. The minute I had kids, that was it. That's it. That's all. Kid one. I was done. I was no longer front and center. It was about my child and what was best for my child. And of course I did things wrong, but not where it counts. Not where it counts. And children should never grow up in chaos. And I know it's hard. Trust me, there are still days, although it's been a long time, but I've been through a contentious divorce. Not so much the divorce, it was more the writing of the checks that was contentious. But you gotta, Laura, seriously, I really hope private that shit. The content about your whatever that was I was listening to. I'll just call it your custody series. That will, to me, as a parent, from one parent to another, that could not, I don't see any upside for your children in hearing any of that. To me, it can do nothing but be hurtful. There's just no upside to it. But you do what you want. That's obviously we all do what we want. But I'm telling you, and I say that as someone who at one time I really tried to extend myself to you, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I think Laura is an irredeemable shitbag. I'm not going to say that. I think that, she has the capacity to change and grow just like anybody does. But I just seriously, I would strongly consider privating that. It's not, who cares what it does for you. I don't think it could prove to be any benefit to your children at all. So, but not my place. But hey, there's fucking nothing on here that's any of our places. And I would never, I want this understood. The only thing I ever comment on here is publicly available content. And it's got to be here on YouTube. I do not go, I think y'all know, if nothing else, I'm lazy. I don't, and I'm not real tech savvy. This is more than I can handle as YouTube. I don't Instagram. I don't TikTok. I don't do any of that shit. And I'm damn sure not going and looking for content off of YouTube. So I just want that understood. I never, to me, it's if it's on here on YouTube and it is publicly available, well, that's fair game. And I will never go off of here looking for anything else. Not with Betty, not with anybody. So, all right, kids. Bob's in here and he wants to take his. Bob, where'd you go? Oh, come here. I hope I'm not too late. He's been in here and he's been like, I just noticed Bob didn't get a damn Halloween bandana at the groomer. Hey, what are you doing? He's like, bitch, you know what I'm doing in here. Why do you ask me this every time? Take me out. All right, kids. God, it's Wednesday already. I might come in. Did I say I had something? I know I have something tomorrow afternoon at the end of the day, but I might come in here in the morning. We shall see. When I say morning, I mean like, well, between 10, maybe 10 o'clock, something like that. We'll see. I guess it'll just depend on what transpires overnight. One of these days, we're actually going to do what I'm planning on, which is anything but the YouTubers. I listened. Oh, I'm going to leave you guys with this. This was hilarious. I was listening to Megyn Kelly's podcast, and she was talking to, what the hell is his name? Steve somebody. He was at Harvard with Bill Gates. He was not the Bowden, what the hell? I think his last name was Bowden. Anyway, he came on to Microsoft, not in the very beginning, but like 3 years in. But he was at Harvard with Bill Gates. And obviously, he's a bajillionaire. Right now, he owns the Clippers basketball team. Megyn Kelly was asking him, just between you and me, tell me what is the best perk about being obscenely rich? Like, what's your favorite thing? And she said, is it the private jet? And he said, no. And he went through the answers you have to give of, knowing that we have the security that, being the 8th or 9th richest man in the world affords us. Our kids don't have to worry about money. Yeah. She's like, yeah, no. I mean, like, come on, a perk, like something fun. And she said, was it the jet? And he said, no, I'd have to say it's the basketball team. And she said, I have a friend who is friends with Bill Gates number 2 at Microsoft back in the heyday. And he said they were in the private plane. And the flight attendant came up and she said, sir, to Megan's friend who, God, I can't remember. Oh, what the hell was his name? Andy somebody. Anyway, what would you like for dinner this evening? We can do anything you want. And he looked at her and said, how about pizza? Oh, I'll be right back. So she goes into the galley, and a minute or so later, she comes back and says, sir, I am so sorry. That is the one thing we don't have. So the owner of the plane, Bill Gates number 2, says, where are we? And she comes back and says, the captain says, we're over. Okay, do me a favor. Get on the phone. See if you can we're going to touch down. There was something about tell the pilot we need to land and start looking for pizza places near the airport. So that's what she does. And, I'm sure the captain came on and said, folks, we'll be landing in Bodunk, Egypt in 12 minutes. So in the meantime, the flight attendant is furiously, Balmer, yes, going through the phone book or, Google pages and is looking for a pizza place. Now, I guess it's close to like midnight at this time and has no luck. Well, this is the part of the story that kind of they didn't expand on, but all that she said was they found a place and they managed to get a hold of the owner's home phone number. So they called and said, the flight attendant had to call and say, hi, would it be possible to get a blah, 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 large cheese and a sausage, green pepper and onion? No, I'm sorry, we're closed. Well, would it be possible for you to go in? Ma'am, no, we are closed. This is my home number. The flight attendant said the following. Sonia, girl, never mind. I was going to say, if you want to make this a t-shirt, I'll buy it. No, fuck that. I'll start my own line of t-shirts. Sir, I want you to imagine a world where money is no object and no is not an answer. Name your price. And the guy said, okay, $10,000. Done. We will see you in. Now, she did not go on to say whether it was the best $10,000 pizza her friend ever had. I went in and told my husband, I said, I just heard the best damn story. Okay, hold on. I need my glasses. Hold on. Wabi Sabi, how are you? Hold on, I got to see this. Okay, let's see. Oh, did I not put you know what? You got me on the, wait, which needs to be capitalized? It. Okay, let's see. Yes, you're right. It should have been capitalized. Okay. And you know what? As far as the question mark, rather than the exclamation point, I pondered that before I pushed the button. And I thought, you know what? I think you're right. I think it should have been a question mark. Yeah, because it is a question. But in my mind, because this was YouTube, I was screaming it like I always do. You are correct. I stand corrected. Listen, I love grammar. I love punctuation. Yes. Listen, I have told Crazy Nurse many a time, if I ever fuck up a title, you text me, you call me, you send up a smoke signal, you do whatever you have to do. I have never been a fan of looking like a dumbass. So I thank you. And I'm not going to do it right now, but soon, even though this is going to go in the archive, I am absolutely going to fix the capitalization and the incorrect. That's so funny because I promise you, I did. I vacillated. I was like, question mark, exclamation point. Like, why use a question mark when you can use an exclamation point? But I appreciate it. All right, kids. So yes, in the words of, is it Dave Ballmer or is it Steve Ballmer? Whatever. Yeah, all that. In a world where money is no object and no is not an answer. And I'll leave it with one better. One of my favorite memes I ever saw, this beautiful giant yacht floating out in, the harbor at Monaco or something, Monte Carlo. And it said, money may not buy you happiness, but it can buy you a big ass boat and you can sail right up next to it. Yes. All right, kids. I might see you tomorrow. If not, we'll hang out Friday, I would imagine. All right, pussycats. Have a good one. Oh, God, I've got to take this off. I'm going to have a headache until Friday from this damn thing. So I will be back tomorrow or Friday with I'll be rocking a new headpiece. I'm going to put this one back in its box and stand by for another one. All right, pussycats. Have a good night.
Thought that you should know I've been going solo. Want my love, baby, earn it. Yeah, dancing on my own. See if you can follow. Got me feeling alive. Watch me go. Lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time it's real, real, real. I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. I want. Hear me now. I do what I want. Are you ready now? 'Cause it won't be easy. Only get what you work for. Gotta go all out whenever you see me. Don't be wasting my time. Watch me go. Lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. I want. Hear me now. Watch me go. Lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. I do what I want.
Good morning. What's new, pussycat?